A very good morning to you. Second day of November. Am I getting the right date? Yes, it's the 2nd of November, 2020. How are you doing? Wednesday morning. It's the Jam 316 Financial Clinic. My name is James Okumu. Thank you for taking the time to hook up with me. So, which is the latest video you received on WhatsApp? Every day we receive videos, oh my goodness, on WhatsApp, and we forward them and we forward them and we forward them. Most of them comical, we laugh at it, we send it to our family, we send it to our friends, they send it back to us. You know, sometimes you can receive the same video from like 15 people in one day. But have you ever thought, who sits down to put down these videos? Where do these things come from? And what's the purpose of all these things? Well, today we want to look at that as we look at content creation. You know, with social media, a lot of possibilities came into being. It's not like back in the day when you had to approach a media house with this concept and you do this kind of show. You have to buy all this equipment. Nowadays, we have smartphones and we have social media. And when the two of them come together and you have a creative mind in between, the possibilities become endless. We have a lot of people, both young and old, who have gone to social media not to gossip but to produce content, and they're being paid for it. I mean, it's become one of those things. A friend of mine sent me a list the other day it was talking about the top earners on YouTube in Kenya. You look at the figures these guys are earning monthly and you're thinking, I think I'm in the wrong career. I think I need to go out there and start producing some content because it's legit. And so we want to talk about content production and what goes into that and what are the do's and don'ts and how do you thrive in this space where a lot of people are doing a lot of things. That's what's coming up today on the Financial Clinic right here on Jam 316. Kama wewe ni content producer, hebu tuambie siri zako. Tell us what you're doing, what kind of content you're producing. Maybe we can check out your channels. And before you tell us the content you're producing, kumbuka hii ni Christian station. Kama content yako ni Bwana asifiwe. Hey, usijiandike. Tunaweza tukakuandika zaidi. So that's what's coming up on the Financial Clinic today. If you have any questions about content producing, if you've ever thought of getting into that space, we are here to give you all the tips and what you need to know. I have an amazing guest, very interesting fellow, very comical. I'm sure you've seen his videos. I'm so sure. Maybe he should get into character. The last video I saw that he did, I started laughing even before I interacted with the content. Just the look and how he had packaged it. So we'll get to hear from him. Several people reminding me we are not in November, Pastor. Why are you dragging this year? We are in December. Yes, indeed. I can see you're attentive. It is the 2nd of December, not the 2nd of November. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Financial Clinic today. This morning, I'm joined by George Kagwe via Zoom. George, how are you doing?
Salama sana.
I'm telling you. I'm wondering, will I be able to conduct this interview? I'll just be laughing all through. Man, thank you so much for agreeing to be part of the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed. I'm blessed, Pastor Jimo, like Yani. In a great space, despite everything that is happening.
Yes.
There are days you're sad, but you just remember who Jesus is in our lives.
Yeah.
And friends are passing away from this thing. But, at the end of the day, we have to keep on pressing on.
Very true.
We'll meet one day with
Very
them,
true. Yes.
So that's I have joy. I have joy in my heart. I'm happy to be alive and I'm happy to be here this morning.
Awesome.
Finally. Sijawahi kuwa Family Radio, Pastor Jemo. Sijui kwa nini huwa munipi.
Tutaongea your story. Tutaongea off camera. But I see you call yourself an internetpreneur. What is an internetpreneur?
Yes, I call myself an internetainapreneur. So this is the word, internetainapreneur. So for the past 6-7 years, my family, God has enabled my family to be able to thrive from the internet space. And it's something that I've earned money from it. I've met people, made great networks, met friends. Our family has been able to fend off it, put bread, bacon, you name it, honey on the table.
Yeah.
Started a business from it. So so I'm like, this year when I was relooking at how to be able to brand myself once again, because I used to call myself a digital enabler.
Yeah.
But then I looked at it and I'm like, this internet space, first of all, I'm an entertainer. Secondly, I'm also an entrepreneur into it.
Yeah.
So concocted the term internetainapreneur just to be able to kustua watu kidogo ukiingia kwa mlango Hey, who are you, internet entrepreneur? Allah, hey, tell us more. It also starts conversation. So
okay.
yeah.
How did you get into this space?
I got into this space, people say by accident, but I think by God appointment is what I like saying. So I got into this space in 2014. In 2014, I was tired of going for auditions. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
And I was going for auditions for lots of TV productions. And, as people know in the industry, you land a role, but then again, something happens overnight.
Yes.
It's given to someone else. So I got very tired of going for auditions and not landing a role. And then I have a friend called Richard Njau at the time. He was working at Google and was working for YouTube. And he used to be on my neck, start a YouTube channel. So finally I was like, sawa, let me start this YouTube channel of yours. Let's see what will happen. And I did my first video. And I remember even Richard is the one who shot my first video.
Yeah.
And the overwhelming support I got, because I put it cross-platform on YouTube, Facebook. At the time, you couldn't put long videos on Instagram. And so I put it on those platforms, and, the comment section was just bubbling. People are like, do more.
Yes.
And that's how I just got into this space, by becoming a practitioner.
What was the video about? Do you remember do you remember what the video was about?
I do, actually. The video was a parody and more of a satire. It was political and also just kind of about the life in Nairobi. At the time, there were floods in Nairobi, and then our governor was Governor Kidero.
Yes.
And so I took a status update from a lady on Facebook, and I put some character into it, and I just addressed Governor Kidero, and it came out as funny, as punchy. At the same time, it was a serious matter, because guys in Nairobi were tired of floods.
Yeah.
And so I started doing political satire. I did for Mombasa governor. I did again for Nairobi as well, for the senator, and so on and so forth. So that's how I started, just with a different kind of cause.
So at what point did you realize that this is actually something I could get into full time, because the possibilities are endless? I
realized, I knew it would be something full time. It's just that at the time, the amount of attention that was on the social media spaces was not as now.
Yeah.
If I can paint a picture for people, this is back then. There were probably 3 or 4 YouTubers at the time. This was a lady called Elodie Zone, Caroline Mutoko, Kangai Mwiti was in makeup. There were very few people who were into this space, and so the attention and eyeballs was not as much. So you could not be able to do this full time. So I decided to start doing this full time last year.
Okay.
Last year is when I started doing this full time, and this after we shut down our company. Richard and myself finally started our company together, but then we shut it down from just God ordering our steps.
Yeah.
And then I focused now on my craft, because I remember, and this is such a great story because it will add value to the listeners and someone who's watching probably later. Let me just say, at this point in time, after shutting down a company, it's like you've let go of something that was dear to you.
Yes.
So there's a lot of emotions going through me. There's a lot of stuff I'm going through. I was the breadwinner. My wife had decided to get off work and be a stay-at-home mom. And so now you're like looking at bills coming your way, and you're like, how will I do this?
Yeah.
And I remember one evening in July, I woke up early and I was like, man, I need quiet time with God. And I asked God hard questions. I'm like, Father God, you told us to shut this thing down. Now, how will you provide for me? How will I be able to do this? But I don't want to be on loan apps and things like that, And God asked me, what do you have in your hand? I'm like, what do you have in your hand? The way he asked Moses.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have a gift of acting and making, and somehow people laugh. It's like, exactly, start doing. You're lazy.
Wow.
You're lazy. Get up and do. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for someone else to come and help you. Do it. You've been preaching this for so long. Do it. For 5 years you've preached. Do it. And I started my first video. The first video I did of now the character called Scholar.
Yes.
Who's a mobile money lady.
Yes.
Man. The thing went viral. In fact, I didn't know it went viral.
Yeah.
Because I put my head down. I'm at the lowest point in my life.
Yeah. I'm
in between a rock and a hard place. So I just put my head down, put myself in a cocoon, and I'm just churning out content. 3 videos a day. 3 videos a day. I'm just chomoing of the same character. I get an idea, I do.
Yeah.
I get an idea, I do. I don't ask if, but when. I do that idea.
Yes.
And that's when now I just started getting serious with it. A year before, in 2018, God had given me a vision. He'd given me my vision. Because I was like, man, before I start doing this internet thing, I need a vision. And the vision God gave me was, your vision and your purpose in life is to bring a little bit of sunshine to everyone you encounter.
Wow.
And that's your vision. That's your purpose in life. And I was like, what? Sour, let's do this. And so, as they say, the rest is history.
The rest is history. So can you give us a bit of, what did you call her, Scholar?
Yes.
Can you give us a bit of her?
Yeah, for sure. Scholar represents customer service in this country.
Yes.
Customer service in this country is getting better, but we could be better. So
yes.
So Scholar is those people who, let me just give you a scenario. So you can walk in and probably want to buy a phone. So you find someone just doing, mambo, hebu ngoja niko na simu. Muangalie kione. Niko na customer hapa. Sijui anataka kubai simu. Unataka simu gani wewe? Anataka mulika mwizi. Wewe Tobias, toa mulika mwizi hapo umlete huyo. Tukutane saa ngapi? Utanibai lunch. You know, so that's typical Scholar for you. Like,
yes.
So it's supposed to bring and invoke thought. So it's funny, but at the same time you start thinking and you're like, that's for I went to this restaurant and I was served that way. I went to this petrol station or in this even matatu and I was served this way and that way. You know, so it's supposed to invoke that thought so that it can bring change. And for me it was great, Pastor Jemmy. I can say I saw even on a different TV station.
Yeah.
They featured the mobile money ladies and started having conversations about customer service.
Wow, because of that video.
Exactly. So they went around and they're like, hey, there's this guy who's doing this, that, the other. Is it true?
Yes.
You know, and now these mobile ladies are answering. They're like, you know, and they went around the country just answering people. So for me, that's the win. The win for me is not even the fame. The win is the conversations now we start having in society in regards to customer service through that character. And this now is reflected in different pockets, even if it's the butchery guy, whatever it is, you know, it's just reflected in different pockets.
Okay. You know, somebody may look at you, George, and say, well, it's easy for you to produce content because you're an actor, you're a natural actor, you know, and so you can do your own stuff anywhere, anytime it comes naturally. So do you think anybody can come up with content?
Oh, yes. Anybody can come up with content. Because everybody, as long as you're living, you have a purpose in life.
Yeah.
You have a purpose in life. And if you've not found out your purpose, I beg you, I plead with you to find out what your purpose is. So once you figure out what your purpose is in life, then it is clear what your vision should be.
Yes. And
from that, you are able to make content. Whether you sell boiled eggs and smokies, whether you are a farmer, whether you're a tailor, whether you're a matatu driver, whatever you are, whatever your purpose is in life, you can start making content from that and with that purpose. So for me, anybody is a content creator.
Yeah.
Because there are different forms of content. There's picture, there's text, there's video, there's audio.
Very true.
If you're not good on video, you're probably a great writer.
Yeah.
Right? And I know even people who have started blogs and even writing in mother tongue, writing in Sheng.
Wow.
And they are doing great and they are amazing right now, amazing content creators. And they are producing great content. There are people who even do photos even through the phone.
Yes.
Just funny photos, punchy photos, whatever it is. There are people who are great podcasters. Podcasts now are becoming a huge thing. So there are people who are now great in audio, so they do podcasts. So anybody and everybody is a content creator. We just need to find out our purpose. Secondly, we need to get to just love ourselves. Because if we don't love ourselves, we start now looking at different things. Now me, I would have looked at myself and I'm like, me, I'm a plus size guy. I'm just a fat bloke. Me, guys won't like me. You know, guys who appear on videos that need to be lean, six-pack, nini, looking nini.
Yes.
You know,
with combed hair.
Yeah. But if I look at myself and I'm insecure,
yes,
right? in myself, then I'll not be able to deliver that content. I look at myself and I think I'm inadequate. Yet God has told us you're adequate. You're the one. God is telling you you're the one, Bana. You get, you may stammer like Moses. You may not be as good looking as whoever.
Yeah.
But you're the one. Go forth and just do that content piece. So I think those are the two areas that, and the two hurdles that majority of us face. Number one, we don't know our purpose. So we do not understand what we're supposed to be doing and producing.
Yeah.
Number two, we are our biggest barrier.
Okay. Now, we'll talk about, okay, there's the whole content aspect, but how do people actually make money out of this content? You know, because I can produce content and throw it out there, but I ain't seeing no shillings and cents. So how is it that some make money, some don't make money, some just watch? So how do I make money from producing content? That's what we'll talk about shortly. If you have a question for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. It's the Financial Clinic. Today we talk about content creation, which is something a lot of people are getting into. You know, the other day I was looking for the highest earners on YouTube in 2019, and I was shocked. I think the highest earner is a child. That just shocked me, looking at the amount of money this child is making. And basically what this child is doing is they review toys on YouTube. They just review toys, and they have millions of subscribers. And I thought, kuna kitu hapa, and we need to talk about it. And that's why George is with us in studio via Zoom. There's an SMS here for you. Inasema, huyo jamaa mimi ni fan wake sana. Kwanza nikipata video zake Facebook, he makes me feel like niko home sana. Big up to him. Mwambie tunampenda sana with all that he is doing. He is the very best. Huyo ni fan wako.
Asante. Nashukuru.
You know, as I was listening to that song, I was watching your latest video, Jose wa Butchery. Yeah, amefika pwani, you guy, my friend. So let's talk about how do you convert this into money? Because creating content is one thing, and we have a lot of people who are creating content all over the place, but they're not making any money out of it. So how does one begin to make money out of content creation from all these social media sites?
Oh, great question. So there are three, for me, there are three different levels where you can be able to create or opportunities for you to earn money and monetize, basically monetize.
Yeah.
So the first one is where you have enough eyeballs, and this is enough people or audience. You have an audience where you are able to command this audience. Sorry for the word command, but you're able, these guys, you're able to tell them, move here, and they move. So this is very important because you're then able to approach brands, or brands are able to approach you. And they're able to tell you, oh, we'd like either to place a product, or for you to mention us, or for you to, we have a campaign, please try and make content around this campaign, and then we will pay you. That's one way you can get money and get monetized. Now, that's now influencer marketing. And there are different kind of influencers. There is macro. These are the big influencers, the Jugushes and so on and so forth. Then there is micro, where I believe I fall. I don't know. Maybe I should change it myself. And then there is nano. Nano influencers now are the guys, you probably don't have the big numbers, but you still have an audience. And you're able now to approach brands and tell them, this is my rate card. So you have this campaign. I can be able to help you to be able to do this. That's one way. The other way, that's through now brands, influencer marketing. The other way now is through platforms. So there are platforms now that are able to pay you. And now there's YouTube. You're able to monetize your channel and you get paid. Like you said, Pastor Jemo, you know, you've been able now to see the numbers and how these people are making money. But then how you make money is dependable on your region. So guys in Stato make more money than guys here in Kenya. And it's all because of the amount of people on the platform. Stato, there are much more. Even in Europe, there are much more than here in Kenya. And so there's something called CPMs, the cost per mile. So depending on the amount of people now, you're able to be paid based on that, right? So YouTube, for example, gives you 55% of advertiser spend. So if someone spends $1, you're given 55 cents of that dollar. And it comes to you. The platform takes the 45%, which is not a bad thing. It's a great opportunity, right? So you're able now to find ways on how you can be able to use platforms in regards to that. And these are social media platforms. Facebook also was doing the same. I had even monetized my Facebook platform, but they then withdrew. They got out for some reason. I don't know. There's also TikTok. You can also find ways on how to make money through live. You get a live, people send you tokens, you're able to redeem those tokens and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's the platforms. And here in platforms, there's social media platforms, and then now there's video on demand platforms, or what we call OTT, over the top platforms.
Yeah.
So now there are lots of platforms like Viusasa that are coming up.
Yes.
That now you are able. Sorry for mentioning this. This is not an advertisement, but anyway. So there are all these platforms that are coming up where they come to you as a content creator and they tell you, oh, we like your content, and this is non-exclusive. So come bring your content so that we can take it to our audience, and then we will pay you based on the revenue and subscription that your content gets.
Yeah.
So now that's another way that is really coming up. And there's something bubbling under that. I think there's a big telco coming up with something that is of the same. And now content creators will be able to benefit from this. This is very important because you find that these platforms, people pay 10 bob, 20 bob a day.
Yeah.
So it's very important because now that's the demographic you're looking at. Because these are people on their mobile devices. Either they have a feature phone or a smartphone, and they can pay a 20 bob a day to watch your content, which is great. Even if you receive 5 bob from one person in a day, and you have, say, 1,000 people, imagine receiving 5,000 bob a day.
A day, yeah.
As you sleep, you just made content and you go sleep. 5,000 is just entering.
Yeah.
It's just a perfect way on how you can be able to do that. So that's in regards to the different video on demand or over the top kind of platforms. The third one is now, which is most important, is consumer.
Okay.
There's something we call digital value, #digital value economy. You can be able to monetize directly through the consumer. What has happened now is, like you said, Pastor Jimo, a lot of barriers have been removed.
Yes.
A lot of middlemen have been removed. So now, you, myself, Family Radio, you can directly reach your audience, directly and touch them. So right now, you've just read an SMS, for example, of someone who loved my content. I can be able to use an opportunity through here in a way that now I can get some ROI. So for example, people put, hey, to support us to continue making content, here's my mobile money number. Or here's my number. Support us. Do this. I can be doing a live, or I can put it in my content and people send. That's a way that now people are getting now people to be able to now support them.
Yes.
You can even make a community of your diehard fans. This can be even through WhatsApp.
Yes.
For example. And now this community of people, you tell them, hey, me, Yani, thank you guys for whatever. If you'd really love to support me every month, just send me 500 bob. And you can have a clique of maybe 1,000 guys who send you 500 bob, right?
Yeah.
In a month. You can do the math and see how much money you can be able to make from that, right? And the thing about here is you find that consumers and your audience are always willing. It's just that they don't know.
Yeah.
So you always have to ask. You always have to do the ask and be like, guys, do you want to support me in any way? Because guys love your content.
Yes.
They have an emotional connection with you. They love you, but they don't know how to appreciate. You get? They don't know how to be able to appreciate you. So one way is you can be able now to ask them to, hey, guys, give towards my cause, give towards my content creation.
Yes.
Another way people use also, they form merchandise. So now I can make Pastor Jimo can now make merchandise with a caricature of his face and right there Pastor Jimo, and now start selling merchandise. And now because guys love you so much, they want to wear you. They want to be part of your life. They want your brand in their dicks. So it can be a cap, it can be hoodies, t-shirts, cap, whatever it is. You start a line of merchandise, and people now start purchasing that merchandise.
I want to take you back to the whole eyeball question because I was having a discussion with some friends of mine, and I want to see if I was thinking along the right path. Because we were talking about how there's a lot of drama. There are people who come to social media with one drama after another. You know, some of these reality shows we watch on social media, and I'm not going to mention names. And people come up with all sorts of drama regarding their relationship or regarding their work and all these things. And sometimes they even come up with controversial things. And we go there and we say what we need to say. We say a lot of things. You look at this post, it has got thousands upon thousands of comments. And so I was telling somebody, you know, This is just pure genius because they're after eyeballs and we are giving them eyeballs. Because as we complain about what they're doing, it means we are actually watching, and it means somebody is actually paying them because they are giving them eyeballs. Was I right?
Yeah. Very true. You are 100% right. Guys are always, I mean, on these streets, you have to understand, this is the A to Z. This is the bread and butter for majority of people on these internet streets.
Okay.
They don't have any other option. They've said no to other options. And they're like, you know what? This is a space where I want to be able to earn my living. And so if they see something dipping, you find that people come up with strategies now to come up with controversial topics.
Yes.
Oh, so-and-so has cheated on my wife, and you find out it's a prank.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
And you find that they choose topics because they know their audience, and they know guys are always human beings. Ubaya sisi, unajua venye Mungu, hata hii ni swali nitauliza Mungu tu. Na Mungu ulitaka DNA ya udaku. Tunapenda udaku. So we love those controversial topics because we like prying into people's lives, and that's why social media is huge. Because I can see how George Kagwe lives, which house he is in, where he wakes up, what car he drives. That's what we love. And so people know now that this is how people are spending time. They always want to know about our lives. So if they see that kind of a topic, so they call them clickbait. So even you put a clickbait there, I cheated on my wife. Guys come running. They come now to see what is this guy talking about. So you're very right. So it's all about eyeballs. People are always looking to have as many eyeballs on their platforms. Because just to remind the viewers, consumer is supreme. So consumer is the one who selects what to watch. So if your video is not watched as many times and doesn't have as many comments as yesterday, it's because someone else took the crown of the day, of the moment at that time with their content, and so the eyeballs went to that person. So it's always a competition of eyeballs. It's always a competition of, if you're not in video and if you're not in video and text and kind of article, that's eyeballs. If you're not in that, you're probably in podcast. So people are giving you their ears and their eardrums. So that's the constant competition that is on these platforms. We're always trying to fight for the same kind of eyeballs.
There's one dilemma I've seen amongst believers when it comes to content creation. For many believers, if you give them an opportunity, there's one time I had sent out a message and I was asking the guys who watch this show and who follow me on social media, and I asked them, if I was to give you 5 minutes on radio every day, what would you do? 99% said the same thing. And I think you know what they said. They would preach. They would preach a sermonette. They would preach. And so I think the dilemma, and somebody's asking this question, what's the balance between content creation and also maintaining your values as a believer? How can I get creative and still not get out of the biblical values that I hold dearly as a Christian?
So I love that question, because this is where also vision comes in. Like the guardrails that you put in place in regards to, first of all, as yourself, as a person, and then now as your brand on social media is very important. So how I've been able to do that is there are certain topics that, of course, I kind of venture into, especially in the kind of society we are in. I like shedding light on them. So this is in regards to, sponios or whatever, trying to bring these conversations to a place that, you laugh, but imagine this is what happens. This is how these people approach you. This is how people come through, you get. Because for me, I like reflecting what is happening in society so that you can think, so that you can be like, even as believers, we do these things. There are people who fall prey and they fall into this kind of temptations, and they fall into this kind of mannerisms and behaviors. So as believers, I don't just believe in preaching. There are different ways you can be able to go through. Just as a musician, you don't just directly preach. You come up with songs and you create songs in a way that you can be able to bring a message across. So as an entertainer, I believe that's the same thing. It's a same strategy where you come up with a concept and you come up with an idea where I'm able to come up with a video sketch where I'm like, this is what I want to communicate today.
Yes.
And through this, I'll be able to bring this verse in the Bible out. I'll be able to bring this principle of Jesus Christ out, and this value that I'm trying to pierce through into people. This is what people will be able to see. So it's less of what I say and more of what I do. So maybe that person who's asking is also probably a lawyer or is a farmer.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to do the same thing. So you have to look at, okay, what kind of information can I bring through for people to know, and what value can I add into people's lives? So if you're a farmer, for example, you start talking about the way probably there are people who are trying, there are ways people are trying to cut corners or take shortcuts in regards to produce. And you start educating people, hey, when you go to the market and you need to test a tomato this way.
Yes.
Because there are people who put madawa, there are people who do this. Probably your tomato will be hollow because all they did is they cut a corner, they did a shortcut, and this is how they planted this tomato. If you're a lawyer, same thing. This is how you know a great lawyer. You ask for their card, their number, this, that, the other. What kind of cases do they do? How they do they bribe judges? All that stuff. So you bring information to the surface that will help people to know that, hey, this is how it's supposed to be done, right? You get, and this goes also for churches. So the same thing that I'm currently also just where I consult with churches here and there. I tell them, like, you just don't have to preach on Sunday.
Yeah.
You have Monday to Saturday. The amount of information you can give, okay? I love the churches that have already even started 24-hour prayer lines.
Yeah.
I love the churches who started doing even skits, using actors and doing skits and starting to, bring the message of the Bible out in different aspects.
Wow.
Localized to our time right now.
Yes.
Right now we have this whole BBI, all shenanigans happening and all these discussions. So it's also a nice time for people to find ways on how they can creatively bring these issues out. So for the person who's asked about being a believer, you have to be a radical believer. And by being a radical, you also have to employ wisdom.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to pray. You have to ask God to show you the way and to give you ideas on how you can penetrate people's hearts, on how you can be able to pierce through people's minds and be able to bring the message of God clearly, and will make people think. Because that's the whole idea. People to think and people to turn away from evil.
Yes.
And I think it's a brilliant thing. All of us who are in the Christian space are always trying to find new ways and great ways on how we can be able to spread the gospel.
Wow, awesome. Now, shortly we'll talk about the nitty-gritties, because a lot of people are coming into this space. So how do I stand out? What are some of the do's and don'ts that you've learned along the way when it comes to being a good content producer? If you have any questions for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. It's Financial Clinic. Today we are talking about content creation, and we are hanging out with George Kagwe in studio via Zoom. Thank you for all the feedback and the questions. 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. George, one of the issues that keeps coming up, and somebody's asking about it, is the whole issue of, especially if you're into video, creating content via video, is the whole issue of equipment. A good number of people think you need a lot of I don't have a producer, I don't have a camera. What would you tell somebody like that?
Mobile device is everything, man. Like, your mobile device has made you akin to a TV station or any production house that is there in the world. You're able to create content. Most mobile devices now come with more than one camera for that purpose. The quality of even these videos is increasing and becoming better. Some phones, even mobile devices, if you can afford even a shooting in 4K, right? So you're able to, if you're able to purchase yourself a decent, good mobile device, please do, because it captures content, it distributes this content through the social media platforms. All you need is data. Data bundles are becoming cheaper and cheaper. Competition is becoming stiff, and so you're able to get data bundles from whatever telco you're using. And then now most social media platforms are housed on apps on mobile devices, so you don't have to go to a URL, you don't have to go to a browser. So you just launch the app and you're able to distribute this content across all platforms that you can be on. Whether that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. And then the best thing is, through these mobile devices, you're able to interact. Like, from one device, imagine you're able to interact with with an audience. You're able to redirect them even to WhatsApp, to your WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Therefore, there are mobile devices that even have dual SIM. You can have one line for your business, which is now this online manenos and the content creation, such that now you have a WhatsApp line where you can redirect people, and now these people come because these are the people who probably want to buy, want to be supporters, want to be your true fans, and you can be able to engage with them from that platform.
Okay.
So that's mobile. You don't need you don't need a whole production house. You don't need a director. You don't need a manager. All you need is a mobile device. Get a tripod. These days, tripods are becoming also less expensive.
Yeah.
Thanks to China, you can be able to get a decent mobile device tripod. You don't even have to go to town. You just go to some websites like Gigi, where you can order and they are delivered to you and you pay based on if you're satisfied with your product. So just to answer the person who's asked that question and many other people, guys, content creation is not hard anymore. You just need a mobile device. Mobile device. Tafadhali, mobile device.
Okay. So let's get into the actual making of the content. What are some do's and don'ts? Because it seems like there are those who thrive and then there are those who find it hard. How do we go about that?
So there's the technical part, and then now there's the psychological part. So I'll start with the technical part. The technical part, we've already said, when you want to create content, whatever it is that you want to create, you just need a mobile device. Even if you write articles, you need a mobile device. Mobile device is your primary source. But of course, the first thing, like I said, is you set up a vision. Find out what your vision is. Even come up with a financial vision. Your financial vision is a must. You have to understand that you have to put a target. You have to say, hey, Father God, I want to earn $2 million this year or next year from my content generation. You've already set a vision. That's your true north. And you want to say, financial vision, this is what I want to attain. Then that trickles down now in your planning. You're like, okay, every month means I have to get this, every week, every day. So that means I need to be able to create this amount of content. Then you have to have your overarching vision. My vision, like I said, is to bring a little bit of sunshine to all I encounter. This is great because it becomes your guardrail. So I've been approached by betting companies, you name it. But because of my vision, I can't be able to do that kind of work. So it's very important for you to do that, right? Because if you don't set that, then you become, Proverbs says a city without walls is, a man without self-control is like a city without walls. You don't want to be like a city without walls that anybody can enter and get out. So you need to be able to create those walls. So technically speaking, once you're able to do that vision, it's now you come and define your target audience. Who's your target audience? This now determines what kind of language you use, what tone you use. Are you speaking to people in Mashinani? So does that mean you have to get into mother tongue? What kind of platforms are they on? Are they big on Facebook? So you'll find people in Mashinani now are huge on Facebook and WhatsApp, right? So you probably need to be on those platforms. So knowing your target audience dictates what kind of platforms you can be on and also the kind of videos you make. So if yours is for Mashinani people, you can't start having your background being a great apartment, interior of an apartment. You have to now look for a place which has a shamba with maize, so that now guys are able to identify and be like, this is good, So those are the things that you have to now start thinking through when you're doing now when you want to start doing your content. So you define your target audience, know who your target audience is. This helps you. You can have broad target audience, but in small clusters. So target age groups between 16 to 20. Why? Because these guys hang out on TikTok and they're not on any other platform, probably TikTok and Instagram. And they're not on Facebook because now Pastor Jemo is there on Facebook looking at what they're doing.
I'm telling you.
Uncle George is there looking at the nephews and nieces. So, they are not on those platforms. So you just find out from each cluster of age group, different demographics, which area are they in, and so on and so forth, what platforms they are on, and then you can make your content through that. And then now when you start making content, characteristics of content are very simple on social media. It has to be human. You'll find that, there are those people who go for high-end production kind of content, but they don't mean as much interaction as someone who took a mobile device and just made content, Why? Because this is more human. A mobile device is more human. It shows you real time where you are. There's no fancy lighting. There's no CGI. I created a set. I did what? All those things are fine if that's your cup of tea and that's what your audience wants. But for you, it's very simple. You can be able to plunk a phone somewhere, a mobile device somewhere, and you just take that content. So it needs to be human. The other thing that it needs to do is add value. What value is it adding? So here, knowing your target audience is also very important. So if you're someone who sells land, for example, you're into real estate, value to your audience is not you telling them that you have an eighth in Syokimau.
Yes, Kamulu.
Or Kamulu. That's not value.
Yeah.
That's value to you. To your audience, value is them knowing, oh, this is the process of due diligence in regards to land. That's value. Trading your, giving your trade, quote unquote, trade secrets.
Yes.
What people think trade secrets are, yeah? So that's adding value. That's the value to your consumers. Your consumers want to know, hey, how do I go about due diligence? Hey, what happens if my land has been grabbed? What do I do? What if there are squatters? That's value. And once you start, the reason why adding value is very important is because you want to have an emotional connection with your audience.
Yeah.
You want them to love you. You want them to come to the point where they're like, any time they think about land matters, they think about you. And so that now elevates you to an authoritative position where someone thinks of land, they're like, that guy,
yes.
When anyone thinks about comedy or political matters through satire, that guy. When anybody thinks about farming and agripreneurship, that guy is like, hey, let's go to that guy, And so that's adding value. The other thing is consistency. How consistent are you? If you're going to say that, and consistency goes hand in hand with frequency. So if this was 2015 and you tell me that you'll do one video piece of content or one article a week, I'll be like, thumbs up. That is great. Awesome. Because the eyeballs are not as much. There are not as many content creators. But now 2020 going into 2021, thanks to COVID, my friend, you need to be doing 3 pieces of content in a day.
Wow.
Minimum. Because you have to understand, like we've talked about the competition of eyeballs earlier.
Yeah.
So people are on these platforms. As much as people are working from home, but guys are even in their biasharas, they're on these platforms. They're always looking for content.
Yes.
They're just searching for content. So if you do one in a week, by the time you're doing another one in the next week, the amount of stuff that has happened in between, guys have forgotten about you.
Yes.
It's so crazy that even if I do one piece of video today and I do another one tomorrow, like guys have forgotten about you immediately. That's where we are right now. So your frequency needs to increase. So you can start fine with the one video a week, no problem, but increase your frequency. Your strategy needs to increase the frequency and be consistent.
Yes.
Be consistent. Consistency goes hand in hand with what I said was psychological.
Yeah.
Now, there are people who will say, oh, I've been doing this for 2 months. I'm not seeing results.
Yeah.
My friend, I did this for probably since 2014. I did this for 5 years.
Wow.
Before I saw the results that I've seen.
Wow.
Right? I've been an actor for 15 years. Okay? And now is when the breakthrough is coming, consistent breakthrough is coming through. You have to be patient. You have to be consistent. You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You have to be tactical. You have to have wisdom. You have to ask God for wisdom. So right now, wisdom means your content, for example. If you want your content to generate more interactions organically, right? Organically means naturally, when you post content, it just goes.
Yes.
You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for an audience. The platforms to go on are TikTok and LinkedIn. The organic reach on those 2 platforms is tremendous. TikTok right now, you can have 0 followers, you post content, and immediately you start getting interaction. People liking it, people commenting, people doing everything. You can take that piece of content and share it on all other platforms, right? So that's the psychological bit of it is you have to be ready to put in the work. You have to be ready to be consistent. You have to be ready to be patient. You have to be ready to be able to wait and see what happens as you constantly put out your content longer, for more time, so on and so forth. In between, you also engage influencers.
Yeah.
Ask for collaboration so that it can increase also your traction. So that now influencers take your brand to a different level. They immerse it into their audience so on and so forth. So once you start making content in that regard, then you'll start seeing traction. Always remember, the characteristic of content is it has to add value.
Yeah.
What's valuable to, not to you, to your audience. To your audience. And then now start looking around also social media platforms, which are the best social media platforms to put it on. If it's professional, LinkedIn is a great platform. If it's more informal, you can use other platforms like TikTok, Instagram, so on and so forth. And always remember to use the mobile device. This mobile device is everything. Just invest. If you can invest in one, insure it also, because it will become like this now is my bread and butter.
Yeah.
So I have to insure it. I have to ensure that I insure it, because if something happens to this, my bread and butter is gone, right? So you have to insure it. You have to get a decent one, a nice one that can enable you to make content constantly and more, consistently.
Okay. Wow. I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking mtu amesongesha saa mbele, but it's okay. Maybe you can give us your social media platforms for those who've not interacted with your content so that they can know where to find you.
Yes, my social media platforms are on Instagram at George.Kagwe, on Facebook, George Kagwe, the actor, YouTube, George Kagwe, and TikTok, George Kagwe as well. And even right now, I know you talked about Christmas.
Yeah.
About monetizing, I even started a whole different line of product where I do personalized messages for people for 1,500, 30-second videos. For 1,500, wow. Even Christmas. If you want me to sing for your loved ones in whatever character, scholar singing happy birthday to you, or we wish you a Merry Christmas to your loved ones, weka kwa mtandao, DM me and we'll be able to do it for you.
George, thank you so much. Before we leave, one more thing. Just do one thing for me. Ebu say that kalafta just cracks me. Ebu, give us that kalafta again.
Mambo. Pastor Jemo. Local Family Radio 316, Jump 316.
George Kagwe, thank you so much for that information. Truly appreciate you. Uzidi kubarikiwa. I hope you've learned something today. I hope we've added some value to you as our audience this morning. Opportunities are out there. Grab them. Do what you can. As believers, we need to churn out content that will provoke thinking and bring people back to God.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.